Clash of Champions took place tonight from the Thunderdome. You had a card in which I thought, looking at the show, it was going to be really good. And I thought the show ended up being very average. Wasn't very good at all. You started the show off on the pre-show. You had your kickoff panel, usual shit. You had Charlie Caruso there. You had a few other people. And you started off with the Smackdown Tag Titles. And before I get to it, it was going to be Asuka and Zelina Vega on the pre-show. And I think the reason they put Asuka on the pre-show was because she was going to come. Actually, no. I think the reason they put that on the pre-show because I think it was just going to be a one and done. But I think what happened was with Asuka, they moved it to the main card because the women's tag team match got canceled. I don't know what's going on with Shane and Nia, Ruby or Liv. I don't know what happened there. But that got canceled along with Nikki Cross. She got out of the match, so Bayley had to find a new opponent, so they had to change everything around. And it was strange. It was unusual. I don't know what happened. I don't know if there was a COVID outbreak, which I hope didn't happen, but it could have happened. I'm not sure. So anyway, they pushed one of the matches that no one gives a shit about on the pre-show, which was a great thing. They put Asuka and Zelina, which I actually had some interest in watching on the main card, which was also a good idea. So you had Cesaro and Nakamura against Lucha Host Party. Who gives a shit about this? Cesaro and Nakamura win. I'm giving it an okay rating. I barely watched. Main card starts. You have a match that was by far the best match of the night, opening it off with a triple threat ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. Jeff Hardy against AJ Styles against Sami Zayn. One of the best matches WWE has had on pay-per-view in a while. Excellent matchup. It was great. It was awesome. It was fun. It was entertaining. It started off slow though. There wasn't much spots. At first there wasn't much, but starts to pick up. I think things got really good when he went to the outside. They set up a ladder and a bridge on the announce table, so it was basically a ladder set up on the ring apron that connected to the announce table and made a big bridge. And it was Jeff and Sami, and Jeff put Sami on the bridge, and he climbs up to the top of a ladder, which is a huge ladder. He does a swanton bomb off the top of the ladder through onto Sami through the ladder that was bridged, and it breaks. They've done that ladder bridge spot in almost every ladder match now for like the last 10, 12 years. I think the reason is it looks really good when a ladder breaks, even more sinister when more so than when the table breaks, for instance. I think when you have a ladder break, it does look crazier. It looks more painful because it's steel instead of wood. But there was some problems. Or actually, no, there wasn't. They did show the WrestleMania 33 highlight when Jeff did the Swanton one to Cesaro and Sheamus and Cesaro. Well, what was cool there was, or it was bad there actually, was only one ladder broke. So here was only one ladder set up and it broke, so it looked better. One of Jeff's better spots. So Sami's out for a while. Jeff and AJ fight, and Sami gets back in the ring. And things turn around when Sami Zayn, he introduces handcuffs. He gets 2 sets of handcuffs, and what he does is he handcuffs Jeff Hardy's earlobe to a ladder, and then on the outside, and then he gets into a fight with AJ, and they're both climbing the ladder, and AJ hit the suplex to Sami, and Sami connects both their hands together, so AJ and Sami are handcuffed. AJ's forced to put Sami on his shoulders to get him up, but Jeff gets the ladder with his ear, and he's in the ring. The ladder's connected to his earlobe. Sami fights back out of it. He uses a key. He throws AJ off. AJ's down. Jeff's pretty much defenseless, and Sami just climbs the ladder and wins the match. So Sami Zayn's your Intercontinental Champion. I thought it was a great match. I hate Sami Zayn. I wish he was never there. I wish they'd release him. The match was great. I can't say anything bad about it. Then you had Asuka and Zelina Vega. It was cool to see Zelina. I like her. I was happy to see her get this match, but she had 0% chance of winning. She got some offense in on Asuka. I thought too much. I thought they should have had Asuka crush her because it would have make it more believable. Zelina, I guess she's probably the second shortest woman on the roster behind Alexa Bliss. Alexa's still shorter, I think. I bet they're both very, very small. Some people don't think so they should be here. I didn't mind it. I thought the match was, for what it was, very low expectations. It was very average. Asuka wins. Asuka's still champ, U.S. champ. Bobby Lashley beats Apollo Crews, don't care. So they actually did an interview, I think, with Kayla Braxton. We saw her backstage a couple of times. She did a couple of interviews with some of the wrestlers there. Added to the show, but nothing really on the show really made me, really thought. I didn't think anything really stood out. You had Raw Tag Champs, Street Profits against Andrade and Angel Garza. Oh, how could you care less? Street Profits win. They beat Andrade and Angel Garza again for the 100th fucking time on pay-per-view. I'm going to move on. Now we get some important stuff, the last few matches. So you had Bayley and Asuka for the Smackdown Women's title. And what happens is Bayley comes out and she's basically cutting a promo. She has the chair with her. And she does the opening challenge. You know what's coming out first, so she just declares victory. And then Asuka comes out, and Bayley and Asuka have a quick match. It's all right. So I was thinking to myself, Asuka has to do double duty again, just like SummerSlam. Remember, she beat Bayley, and then she lost to Bayley, and she beat Sasha. So I'm thinking, all right, she beat Zelina, now she'll probably lose to Bayley again. But not really. Asuka technically wins the match, but it's DQ. And I don't think they're going to continue this feud. What happens is Asuka comes out. The match doesn't last very long. It's quick. It was not even a match. It was more of a segment. Didn't need to be a match. It was just not even... You can't even rate it as a match. They go to the outside. Bayley gets the chair. Uses it on Asuka. Bayley's DQ'd. Then all of a sudden, Sasha Banks comes back with the neck break still on her. She hits Bayley hard in the back with the chair, and she's still clutching her neck. It hurts her. Sasha tries to get in the ring, but Bayley overpowers her. Bayley's about to beat up Sasha again. Sasha gets thrown in the ring with her neck brace. Bayley brings kendo stick. She's going to kill Sasha, but Sasha gets the stick away from Bayley. Sasha beats up Bayley with a kendo stick. Bayley retreats. Sasha Banks stands tall. I hate it. I like that Sasha's back, but I hate that they're not going to do this at WrestleMania. It's for sure. All I can think of is like, oh shit, Hell in a Cell. I really wanted to see Bayley and Sasha. I mean, I love the idea of Bayley killing Sasha. Sasha leaves for a few weeks. Sasha makes her big triumphant return. She wins the Women's Royal Rumble. She challenges Bayley at WrestleMania for the SmackDown Women's title. She beats Bayley and she gets her huge moment. Here, I think that they're just going to Hell in a Cell. I think Sasha's going to beat Bayley, though, at Hell in a Cell. I'd be shocked if Sasha loses that match. I think she'll beat Bayley, but they really should have had Sasha and Bayley at Mania. But I think it's just going to be Hell in a Cell now. And that'll be the next match. But it was a good segment. I just wish they would have set this up for a Mania match instead of a Cell match. Next, you go to the ambulance match. Drew McIntyre against Randy Orton. I thought this was a good... Oh, I can only say it's a great match, but it was a good story. So it's basically Randy Orton getting his comeuppance, and the way I thought this was going in, I thought, alright, they're going to do some sort of screwy finish that's going to set up Hell in a Cell and Orton's going to win at Hell in a Cell. Now, I think it's over. I think the feud's done. I can't see him continuing this feud. This was so definitive, and it's bullshit because Randy Orton had probably one of the better runs of his career this past year. The guy's been awesome, had one of the best years of his career. I really thought he was going to get the belt at Mania and he's going to beat Drew. Unfortunately, they just decided not to go this direction. I do not know why, and I don't agree with their decision, but this is how they decided to do it. It's unfortunate, because I really think Orton could have been a great champ, but it's weird how they decided to end this feud. I can't see him going to Hell in a Cell, because Drew's beaten him twice now. He beat him at SummerSlam. Now he defeated him in an ambulance match. It's pretty definitive. So the whole story was everyone getting their revenge on Orton, including Drew, but also Big Show, Christian, Shawn Michaels, and Ric Flair. So he started off the match. Drew gets hurt early. Then Big Show comes, chokeslams Orton through a table. They fight towards the ambulance. They bring out a bunch of crutches. They bring out a red ambulance chair, which is pretty cool. Then they go backstage, and that's where Christian comes. They're fighting near, I think, a cafe or catering, and Christian throws Randy Orton onto a table of food. Christian gets his revenge on Orton. So Orton and McIntyre continue to fight through the backstage. They go back, and they go to the top of the ambulance next. Or actually, before that, Drew had a cool spot where he kicks off the door for the ambulance, which actually looked really, really cool. They fight to the top. Drew gets knocked off. Randy's standing on top. Then Shawn Michaels climbs to the top of the ambulance, hits Randy Orton with the sweet chin music. Randy's stuttering. Shawn throws him off, and Randy takes a bump through like a crash pad. But they made it look like Randy hit the floor, but he really hit a crash pad. But it looked really cool too. So Shawn gets his revenge. Drew and Randy fight again. Drew hits the Claymore kick. Randy's done. Randy gets thrown into the ambulance. But instead, Drew doesn't want to finish him just yet. He puts Randy's head out, and he hits Randy Orton with a kick, just killing Orton. Drew destroys him with the kick, closes the ambulance door. It's over. Drew McIntyre wins. Then they show Ric Flair driving away in the ambulance. So Drew McIntyre gets his revenge, and all the people who Randy hurt get their revenge. With the exception, there's a couple of exceptions. We didn't get to see Edge, but I don't know if he'll come back. He's still injured, I guess, but there's no Edge, so. But almost everyone else who he took out got the revenge. He hurt in the summer to get the revenge, and Randy Drew wins the ambulance match, and that's it for that feud. I think it's over. Main event, Universal Championship. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. This was a really good story. This told a good story at the end. They really want to get Roman Reigns over. I thought it could be a squash match, like almost similar to Brock Lesnar and John Cena from that SummerSlam all those years ago, but it wasn't like that at all. But it turned into a squash later. It was a competitive match for most of it, and then like the last third was basically a squash. So it starts off very slow. I was like, oh, this main event sucks. And I feel bad for Jey because this is a big match. Then it gets a little good in the middle. There's some good spots. Jey gets a lot of offense, hits a couple of suicide dives. And then the big turning point, however, is after Jey Uso hits his finisher, he hits the Uso splash, he covers Roman Reigns. 1, 2, but when Reigns kicks out like at 2.5, he hits Uso with a low blow, so he puts his arm up and it's between Uso's legs, and he hits him with a low blow. And that's basically the end of Uso. Reigns hits a spear. Uso's still in it. He won't. Reigns then gets really angry after he hits the spear. He says, "You have to call me the tribal king, the head of the dinner table," or stuff like that. So I guess they're going to do a tribal storyline with Roman Reigns. He's the Samoan chief. The chief. So Reigns continues to beat down Uso, punches him again, hits him with another spear. Uso still refuses to say it. Reigns beats him up again, just hitting him with blows, hitting him with vicious blows to the head, forces him to say it. Uso won't. He continues just to pummel Uso until finally Jimmy Uso comes. And once Jimmy Uso comes, he has a towel. He's basically begging him to say it. Jimmy's trying to get Roman to stop. Roman continues to beat down Jey Uso. Jey is just being repeatedly pummeled here. He's just done. Eventually, the referee begs Uso to call to stop it, and eventually Jimmy throws the towel. Jey is done. The match is stopped. Roman Reigns retains the Universal title. Jey is just defenseless. Jimmy stands over him, and Jimmy at the end is forced to call Roman Reigns the chief. He's the head of the dinner table or whatever. He's the tribal chief. Roman Reigns stands tall, defeats Jey Uso. He is still the Universal Champion, and that is how WWE Clash of Champions ends. Roman defeats Jey Uso. I thought the Fiend might come. That's how I was thinking. You know what? The Fiend's going to come, and that's how the show's going to end. But there was no Fiend. I do think the whole stuff with Alexa and Roman at the end of SmackDown, this press fight, was set the Fiend, because I think the Fiend's the next one. Probably Hell in a Cell, or probably one of the matches. Along with Sasha Bayley. I think that those would be the Hell in a Cell matches at the moment. But that's how Clash of Champions ends. Roman Reigns defeats Jey Uso, and he is now the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns.